So Roni's a software engineer at Postman. In this role, she enjoys helping the several teams create reusable components and user-friendly features. In working with clients, Roni began using CMS and found it to be a valuable tool when working with small businesses. She is a self-taught developer from a non-technical background, and she's passionate about creating a positive impact with building sites. Roni loves spending time outside with her pup Ollie, exploring Colorado. And we're going to give it away to Roni.
Hi guys, how's everybody doing today? All right, there we go, got it? Okay, so you heard about Ollie, so we have to have Ollie as the first slide, of course. So we're going to talk about Headless CMS apps, and I like using Gatsby and I like using Sanity. I think they work well together, so that's what we'll talk about tonight. Our little agenda for tonight is going to be a little more about me, my intro, and then kind of a definition of what CMS is and why we should have that available to us, I guess. And then Headless CMS, what's the difference? And then we can do a little demo. I created a little app that you guys can use, and we can play around with that. So, like Althea said, I'm a self-taught front-end developer, which I kind of feel like that's not correct, because I did a whole bunch of YouTube and bought a couple of tutorials. So it wasn't all on my own, but yeah, I didn't do any boot camps or anything like that. I actually got my job at Postman through the Women Who Code Slack channel. They posted about an apprenticeship, so I applied and got the lucky golden ticket, I guess. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. And then as far as Ollie, I could go on about him all day, but we don't have time. So, but I did want to point out Ollie, and probably most pets for some of us, are great rubber duckies. You're frustrated, so you just can look at them and speak out loud what your problem is. And they won't answer you, but then you can usually clear your head at least and maybe find the answer. So, yeah. So what is CMS? Content management system. Basically means somewhere for your articles, your blogs, your assets as in images or any other videos, GIFs, to store and to be able to be used. WordPress is one of the most widely used and most known CMS software out there. Why use CMS? Coding knowledge is not needed. You can use plug and play type of dashboard. You can use all the extensions or plugins they have, which are usually many, and pretty easy to set up in a low price point. Which are those 4 bullet points really worth WordPress? That's always my question, is if we're stuck in something so rigid like WordPress, is it worth it? That's one reason I started looking around. Part of my web development journey is what else is out there besides WordPress. So I found Headless CMS. I'm not sure exactly how I found the Headless CMS, but probably one of these kind of talks. So this Headless CMS is kind of a misnomer, where it's not really headless because you actually need a head to display your content, but it's more like you can have multiple, as in Althea's fun graphic we use here with the Lego heads. You can have, especially in nowadays, with all the different screens, you have your watch app, you have your VR app, you have there's your desktop, and there's like your TV screens. You want the same content, but you don't have with WordPress or other content management systems, you don't have the flexibility to serve it to the different types of front end. So Headless CMS is very flexible in that way. You can plug and play, you can use different backends and different CDNs. And then if you scale over, you're using a front end and you get too big for it, it's easy to detach and add another or a different front end framework. Or you can add, like you come up with a watch app, so you can add that to your stream with your Headless CMS. So there's two main types of Headless CMS, the API and the Git-based. As you can see, there's 83 API versions, which is going to make it faster and easier to get going. So, yeah, I think they're both, you can find open source if you're an open source fan with both of those. Jamstack.org, I'll highlight that, is a great resource to check out. It has all sorts of information, and you can find all the Headless CMSs, and then they have like a little picker that you can choose according to what kind of content you need to display, or if you want API or Git based. So you can go from there. A couple of things I've already talked about. Productivity is a benefit. So your editor, your content editor, can be working on the front end and creating blogs or whatever they need without having to come back to a developer and have them create the page and push it out to production. And then the scalability is a big key. And then also as a developer, my workflow is different than an editor content manager's workflow. So it's separate, so we can have productivity on both sides. And then performance, obviously that's a big key. We need fast, and we need SEO out of the box. And so most Headless CMSs nowadays have out of the box SEO and then performance with the pre-rendering of pages. And then security, it says smaller areas to attack. Yeah, there's maybe more areas, but they're smaller, and then they can be more secure in their own. They can control their security in their own piece. As far as what use cases Headless CMS is for, I mean, pretty much you name it, you can use it. I'm pretty sure Little Caesars uses Sanity and Adidas. And then I found that Burger King uses digital signage with Sanity, which I thought was an interesting way to use Sanity. Mobile apps, chatbots, of course, your e-commerce sites, and just web apps. So I use, like I said, Gatsby, Sanity, and then I typically host on Netlify for many reasons. Back to Gatsby, it's always been a great React framework that I've understood better than just React. I don't know why, but Gatsby and I get along is what I say. So, and then I have to give a shout out to Jordan. She did a talk, I think back in 2020, and named Gatsby. And so I took a look at it and then went down the rabbit hole of Gatsby. So at Postman, we use Gatsby as well for the marketing site. So I did a real deep dive into Gatsby. And then Sanity. One reason I chose Sanity was for the price point, and the scalability of it. You can have on the free tier, you can have 3 users. So for me as a freelancer, I only work with entrepreneurs or small businesses that only need 1 or 2. So we can really get going into Sanity really easily and really establish what we need before we have to jump to a paid plan. And then Netlify is a great hosting platform. The main reason I love Netlify is they have contact forms built in, which is a huge thing, especially for entrepreneurs. It's really easy to implement, and then you can send the response to your client. You don't even have to get it, you don't have to see it. And then it's just a fun fact that dawned on me, Netlify just bought Gatsby, so it's going to be interesting to see how Gatsby grows. Hopefully it grows. That doesn't go away. Yeah, so all right, so now it's demo time. So I never had like a full plan or like a Figma file or anything like that. So I build my front end first. So I'll get my Gatsby repo spun up, and I'll get my dummy data kind of laid out how I want it, with the look and what data I want. And then I'll kind of make a list of, okay, I want the title to come in, I want this image to come in. Maybe don't need the footer stuff or the header stuff, but I need the body and whatever else, subtitles, you can do your different sections. And then once I have that built up, then I'll go to Sanity. And you'll have to create a Sanity account or log into your Sanity account. Let's see. I think I have that. Yeah. So Sanity, it's just sanity.io. And you can log in. And I have lots of projects, and you just create a new project and download, or you'll create the repo from their CLI. And then once you have that started, you'll need to create your schema file, which is here. And you'll do your different data document types, and then this is where you'll put your title and your string type or whatever type it is, and you'll have a whole file of the different defined fields for your title, your body, your images. You can do categories, you can do so you have drop down of multiples, and you can link to other types of data, slugs, and all sorts of fun things. And then once you've got that filled out, you'll create a index to hold all your different files, different schema files, sorry, and then you'll deploy to Sanity, because you'll get a Sanity dashboard here, and then you'll also deploy to GraphQL, and that's how you'll pull in the data to your front end of Gatsby. Is with, well, I use GraphQL. Sanity also comes with their own data rock, I believe, GROQ. And you can use that to pull into your front end if you need that. And then once you have that pulled up, your schema files will create your different bases. Like I have a category and then flower. So we're doing a little garden app. So I thought it'd be fun to find flowers and display them. So I created a schema file for flower, and then I created So in the schema file, I have a main image, a flower name. So instead of title here, it's gonna be flower name. And then science name and all the different fields. Description is a block of content rich text instead of just a string. And then you've got your categories. That is your different, you can put your different like tags type of thing. And your slug. Depending on if you're going to create dynamic pages from Sanity, then you'll need a slug to recognize which page you're creating. Yeah. And then you go back to, once you created your schema file, then you'll go back to your front end and you'll pull in your Sanity data with a query. And it's always going to look different, of course, depending on your names and stuff. You have to get the node of the data so you can have, well, depending on if you're displaying all your flowers, then you'll need the nodes of the flower data field. One important thing, you'll install Gatsby Sanity, and then don't forget, which I always do, and it takes me an hour to figure out, is put my project ID into the config file, because obviously it won't find it without it. And then we can go we can go to my Sanity repo here and look at this. So so my gallery has all my flower cards in it. So I started, sorry, I'm all over the place. So this is what I started with before I pulled my data, put my data into Sanity. I just created a basic card and then put my different flower titles in it and a picture, just a generic picture, just so I could have that going. So I know I needed an image, a title, and then on the flower page, I needed the description and the sun and the water and all that stuff. So once I did that, put that into the Sanity desktop, then I come over here and pull in my GraphQL data with all Sanity flowers. So I needed the ID, the flower name, the slug, and the main image for the cards. And Gatsby has its own Gatsby plugin, so you have all this special extra information you can pull in with your image, so you can set your width and all that fun jazz. And so then you'll get this guy. Oh, no, you won't. So once I've pulled in all my data, then I have an actual card for each flower. And then anytime I wanted to add, if I add another flower here, if I finish this out and hit publish, then give it a few minutes to build and netlify, and you're going to have another card here. So after you do that, if you want to create pages, like I wanted to create a page for Sage, but I don't want to create each page separately. I did that dynamically with create node. I create pages here in the Gatsby node folder file. So you still need your nodes, and then you need all the different fields that you're going to pull into the page template. And then you will set it to where this data is going to be imported into. And so I have a templates folder with my template flower page file. And then you're going to create the page, the node with the page. You'll have to find, so that's one reason you use slug is you'll have to have some sort of information for it to know which flower it's creating or which page it's creating. You have to have some sort of identifier. And then your component of your template, and then you'll just call it your node. You'll name your node whatever flower or whatever you're working on. And then, so then basically your flower template is just going to be your same type of component as your gallery, only it's just the one page with all the different data in there. So I was thinking maybe we could put in another schema field in there to see how that works. So it's kind of cool how it works all together. So let's see here. I'm gonna do define the field. And what did it say? Planting season. So let's do planting season here. The title is what's being displayed, and then the name is what the field is. And obviously you can't have spaces, and I guess the etiquette is to have lowercase. So we'll do that. We'll keep it a string just to keep it simple. And then I have to go bring in my terminal here. Or not, yeah. And then if I do npm sanity deploy, that's gonna push it up to sanity. Uh-oh. I forgot what it was. Let's go. Then it's going to push it up to sanity here. Oh, I'm not used to working on such a small area. It'll take a minute, but once it's finished, you can find it in sanity dashboard here, or the desk, I guess. So the sanity is also very customizable, so you can have your dashboard with all your different latest pages, images, and you can have cat graphics in here if you want to have a little break. And then you have your project ID, your data set, and then your studio name path. There's the graph or the GraphQL paths that you'll reference, and then your different members. And there's a ton of other stuff you can do. Gatsby just went to V3, and so it's made it a lot more simpler to install and to implement. It actually has an embedded feature now, except for I can't get it to work. So it's pretty new. So there's not a lot of documentation out there, which means that you can just have, because like WordPress, you can just do your admin here and log in. And so you'll be able to do that with Sanity too, because that's one of the things that I've gotten feedback on or pushback on is that it's a separate website that they have to go to edit anything, which is kind of a big deal, but to me it's not. You just bookmark it, but you know, we want to make our clients happy. So let's see, did this finish here? Did not. Well, live coding, it always happens. Oh, it's still building. Okay. Let's see, what else can I talk about Gatsby? Yeah, Gatsby is great. Let's see. So here's we can go back to the demo and kind of look it over. Obviously, we can use any type of, I use styled components. I think I like styled components. I also use Tailwind, but you can use whatever CSS framework you would like. Some people are vanilla, and some people like all the fancy stuff. I like the styled components because you can keep it in with the component, not have to hunt around for the file or in one long file trying to find all the information on that one selector you need to change. Yeah. Is there any questions while we're waiting? Oh no, it's taking longer.
Do you have a favorite flower?
Ooh. Probably the lavender, just because it smells good, it's pretty, and it's helpful to the bees and the butterflies, right? Which we need help with. But there's some fun ones on here. I just Googled Colorado flowers and it came to this website. Oh, not that one. And it gives some good resources. This guy. So, because Colorado, it's hard with our up and down weather, as Chicago and Toronto we had too. No. So I'm not a big green thumb person, but I'm trying. Yeah. Where's my terminal? Man, I feel like it's going slower than normal. Let's see. Yeah, succulents are usually my jam since they're pretty easy to take care of, right? You can forget to water them for a couple weeks. Yeah. It's going to slow things down. Let's see.
Roni, if you want to take another question, we did have someone ask one in chat. Megan asked, what level of JavaScript / TypeScript experience is needed for this level of work?
Not much. if you can Google. It's a matter of just knowing how to map over things for your cards. I have a pretty simple map. Created a card component. And then for your GraphQL, it's pretty easy to understand. It's pretty easy to get started. It's the GraphQL part that can get kind of crazy, because you have to figure out where in nodes you need to be to find the main image or whatever. But overall, I feel like it's beginner friendly. There's a lot of tutorials out there, a lot of Sanity's documents are a little wonky right now because the version 3, as you know, when they do versions, some of they forget to plan for documentation. So it's kind of mixed up right now with the V2 and with the V3. But as I think it's pretty beginner friendly for sure. How I learned Sanity originally is I did a Wes Boss course, Gatsby course that has Sanity in it. was gonna go, yeah, it's this, my Scrumpy. So I took it and made it into my favorite cidery website. So it's pretty complicated. It's pretty fun though. It's because it's got references to like your pizzas, and I changed it to ciders and beers and yeah, cocktails and all that stuff. I don't know my front end side of it. Another reason I use Netlify is because well, right now I have them separate, the front end and the back end. And so I couldn't figure out on GitHub pages how to host and display it. And so Netlify, you can host, or you can have your repo have the two different repos inside of it, and you can reference which one you want. Maybe that was my problem. Guess, yeah. Mentioned, I think in the icebreaker room, somebody mentioned Storyblock. Storyblock's a great one. It's probably the most similar to WordPress that I've run across. But they had the same thing happen with, they came out with V2, I think, and their documentation went really wonky. But yeah, you can move blocks and add blocks in the page, kind of like WordPress on Storyblock. My other one that I really like is Strappy, but it's a node-based backend, so that one you have to know a little bit more. It has some good documentation, but to host it and stuff, you need a little more knowledge of yeah, Strappy with an I believe. Yeah. Contentful is a good one. I stayed away from Contentful because of the price point. Like, I think you get one user and then it's like $500 or some, it's a crazy amount. And so I'm thinking of my freelance clients, they don't want to pay that right away or if ever. So I don't typically do Contentful. How do you find freelance clients? I get this a lot in the different chat rooms I'm in, and I cheated. I did my brother's website, and then I did my landlord's website, the Tactile one. And then like the Scrumpy's website, take a business that you really like and recreate it or add it, or update it to the technology you're using. Find a business that doesn't have one, maybe just has a Facebook page, and create one that way. That's how I've done it. I guess that's what I've read, is just be talking to your family members or friends to find, and spread of word of mouth. You'll get somebody eventually that'll want a website from you. Yeah. Smart business. I guess so. Oh man, I guess we're not able to show you the desk because it's still loading. Usually you can right away have your data up here. That's another cool thing. You can have a local version of desktop running, and then you can also have your deployed desktop, and so you can, I don't know why you'd want to do it for as a developer, but maybe with your client. Your client can be on it updating things and saying, hey, this doesn't work, or what does this mean? And then you can change it locally, push that up, and it'll refresh, and they can have that fresh content. So that's pretty nice about that. I've only scratched the surface of Netlify or Scrumpy's. I mean, there's a million things you can do. Yeah, Don, we did Netlify CMS for that returnship program we did.
Yeah. That's what we did.
Did you do it for that other one? For the
No,
or
for
no?
the other one, I tried the Contentful. That's what I
Uh-huh.
remember. Yeah. But I didn't realize it was so expensive.
I don't know what it is, but it's a lot.
Yeah. I think I just like stayed at the free tier, and then I haven't looked back, but yeah, that the free or the Netlify CMS was kind of clunky, but it was free. So if someone wants to get started, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's an open source one. Actually, they just changed names because Netlify they got rid of it, I think, because they got Gatsby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a basic one that works, is a good starter to test out. Oh, that didn't work. Any other questions or comments?
I have another one. I saw in your code briefly, there was like SEO tag and then some text. Could you show me that again and maybe talk through what it's doing?
Yeah, I didn't fully flesh that part out. It's just a little SEO component that comes with most, I think, I don't remember which starter template I came with, but it's just a little puts the meta tags in there for you. So then you can just name your have your title there, and it'll pull in the rest for you. So like one piece, it'll show you right here, gallery of flowers. SEO is its own crazy world. I just learned a little about canonicals, paths and stuff, and all the descriptions you can put on there. Yeah, that just came with it. So one tip, if you're gonna create, let's say you have a component that you want to pull in your Gatsby or your Sanity data, you use a static query. You can't just use the GraphQL query. GraphQL query is only page level queries.
Yeah, then I think we're just about at time. Anyone has any other questions, you can reach out to us and Roni via Slack. We do have a monthly tech meetup channel. And then again, don't forget to join the Chill Out and Chat channel so you can start scheduling and organizing coffee chats with people local to you. Thanks very much, Roni. This was great. I also didn't really know what Headless CMS was, so I definitely appreciated the intro.